Hi everyone, Rowan again from Hatfield VW Rivonia. Today we're going to introduce two of our sales execs that are also our evaluators, Utilin and Collins. So next time you pop in to sell us a car or trade in a vehicle, we're the guys you're going to talk to, and obviously we'll give you an indication as to what your vehicles are worth, what's going to increase the value of your vehicle, and tips on how to get the most out of your vehicle. I think to start off we're going to go over to Utilin, who's just going to touch on the trading evaluation process that we've got in line here. Ute, over to you.
Okay, so getting most value out of your car when you do come and trade your car in. We obviously look at the bodywork of the vehicle, make sure everything is still in good nick on the car. We also look at the engine and mechanically of the vehicle, the mechanical aspect of the vehicle. So getting the most value out of the car, that's all obviously what we all want when we trade our cars in, getting the most out of it so that we can, walk away from the deal as a win-win for all our customers. So we look at stuff, if you have an extended service plan, extended warranty, extended maintenance plan on the car, those are stuff that adds value to the vehicle. Also the extras, which Collins will touch base more on the car, but those are mostly the things that we look at. Make sure the car is still as a master car that we can retail again.
Cool. So Collins, aka the Hammer, Hatfield Hammer.
Yeah.
What in terms of extras, what is it that a used car department looks for in a car to give me, the seller, better value?
All right. Basically, with used cars, there are a couple of extras that play in the client's favor. Things like your sunroofs, your reverse cameras, your PDCs, and so on. That plays in the client's favor. So, should you trade in a Polo with a sunroof and a Polo without the sunroof, even though the mileage is similar, the one with the sunroof obviously will pay a bit more for that car.
All right, so I've got an example here to run by you. Give me some figures on this sort of car. So a 2016 Polo Highline DSG, 2-year-old car, let's call it 30,000 Ks on the clock.
All right.
So in a scenario where that car's got a sunroof versus that car not having a sunroof, trade value on the car is sitting at 200.
200.
What would you give me a ballpark on that sort of vehicle?
All right, basically first things first, the mileage. For a 2-year-old car, 30 kilometers on the clock, that's pretty below average, so that's a plus side for the client. And if a car has a sunroof, so trade is 205. So
trade is 200.
200. So we start from 205, less to whatever we have to spend on the car.
By that you mean?
That's basically, we'll look at the overall condition of the car. Your tires, your rims, should everything be on par?
Stone chips,
Yeah,
any such things that we need to get fixed on the vehicle again.
Make it a sellable car again.
That's it, make it a sellable car again. So we look at those type of things and we disclose it to the next buyer of that vehicle. So we will disclose such things to the customer and say, yes sir, we have maybe fixed a couple of stone chips. There was maybe a nick, a small, or when you stand against the car with a jean that has those hard buttons. That has a press dent on it. We look at those type of things when you trade your car back in. So those are the type of things that we look at. So based on a book value of 200, we will then offer a customer like that, because of the car has such low mileage with extras. That's the type of car that we will offer the customer 5,000 over book, less to spend, depending what there is to spend in the car. So if I need to do 4 tires at $1,500 a tire, we're in for
about
6,000. So we're in at 199.
Basically, that's what we bring the car.
So the same car with no extras.
For a car with no extras,
that's more in the 185
round, yeah,
give or take. So it's quite a swing for something that's got 1 or 2 little extras.
Exactly, it helps.
All right, does help. So am I right in saying it just makes it a bit of an easier car to sell later on if it's got the extras versus something that's not going to sell without the extras?
Yes.
That's correct.
Look, especially in the era that we are living in, a lot of people want that sunroof. They want that wind through their hair. So yeah, if you look at you as well,
you got to sunroof yourself.
So that's what people these days are looking for. They're looking for that extra little bit, sun.
The gadgets.
That shines on them as well. So those are the type of things. So you look at the market of what the market out there is willing to pay, what they want to pay, and what do they want in an extra car, extras on a car as well.
So, all right. So gents, in terms of, would you say certain brands hold more value than others So not necessarily model specific, but total brands. What would you say the Utes?
Yes, I would say, and if I may, I'll use a specific brand and model as well. I mean, if you compare the VW Up, for instance, with a Renault Kwid, two total different cars. In our eyes, it's the same segment. It's the same segment of vehicle. But in terms of holding its value, the Up is far more better, because you look at such things because the car has ABS in it, where the Kwid does not. So those are the type of things that you look at when you do a trade-in or evaluation on the vehicle. Those are the type of things that you consider what you want to have on your floor as well. So those are mostly the things that we look at when doing an evaluation on these types of cars. So that's where you make the decision: is this the right car for our market, of what the market that we're selling to?
Just touching on that again, Collins, what would you say would cause certain brands to hold value versus lose value?
All right. Some brands, for example, BMW, you'll get a series like a 3 Series. Within a year, they'll have about 3, 4, 5 facelifts on the same car. So that automatically drops the value of the first one that came out, and so on and so on. So it's an avalanche cycle all the time, keeps going. So I'd say bringing out the same kind of car too many times, that drops your value completely. So it's not a good thing.
And one of the I remember we evaluated a little Clio, fantastic vehicle, well spec, blah blah blah, and initially we worked on our normal industry average of, or let's say back bumper to respray is about $4,000, and that specific paint through Renault to respray that whole bumper would have cost us 25 grand to do, versus 4,000 rand on any of our colours. So I think that in terms of a car maintenance, you've got to take that into account when you're buying and selling and looking at changing your vehicle for something that's going to better suit the pocket. So let's move on to a couple of tips that we can offer customers out there watching this, and see how we can get the most out of their cars. What would you say a customer would need to do prior to bringing their car in for an evaluation? Ideally, you want to see the car in all its glory, scratches, dents, whatever the case may be. But how can a customer get an extra 10, 15 grand on his trade-in? What sort of advice would you give somebody coming into us to evaluate?
All right. So first and foremost, try and make sure the car is clean. I mean, if the car is clean, it's more presentable, obviously. Okay, cool. Your tires, your tire pressure, check that your car is level, because you're gonna test drive the car. We need to make sure everything is mechanically sound, like your alignment and everything. So if your tires are relatively balanced, then they will help play in your favor.
A lot of customers tend to decline a product on point of buying the car, such as paint protection and the dent protection. Those are things that is very important for your vehicle upon buying the vehicle, because in the long run, for you to trade the car back in, you're protecting that vehicle's paint on the car itself. Scratches, small dents, those type of things. If you get such stuff in your car, try and get it sorted out.
Give it a polish or something.
Give it a polish every now and then, every 6 months or so. So when you bring your car in for an evaluation at any dealer, the car is presentable for that dealer. Those are the type of things. It's small tips, and it's small things that we really don't take note of upon purchasing a vehicle. And that's generally just maintaining the vehicle throughout the term that you're having it. So at the time of reselling that car, those are the type of things that adds value to your vehicle.
Cool. In terms of, so let's say I bring a vehicle through to you, and I've had previous paint work done on the car, call it a non-VW or a non-manufacturer approved panel beater versus going to the approved dealership panel beater. What sort of implications do you think I'd have doing something like that?
As long as the vehicle was done through an approved VW, any brand approved product, a panel beater, as long as it has been done to what the standard is of that manufacturer, then it's fine. But obviously, if you go to Joe's Soap next to the corner and the car is not fixed properly, we understand that you have tried to fix the vehicle, yes, but still, to get to floor standard, an X amount, for argument's sakes, on a bonnet, to get the bonnet sprayed out, 4 to 4,500 rand, depending on what the color is and which brand it is yet again. But that's the average that you will spend per panel to get that panel back to what floor standard or retailable standard would be. So yes, it is fine if you had the car fixed before, as long as it is at a manufacturer approved panel beaters.
And quality, obviously.
Quality of it, yes.
Because I would imagine that if it's poor quality, we just got to redo it.
Redo it,
We
and so we're going to penalize you the full
So
amount,
you're
basically.
gonna you basically waste that entire money. Perfect. In terms of a vehicle coming through that, look, I'm on the way to work and I decide last minute, listen, I need to pop in and have a evaluation done. I don't have time to do that stuff. Is that really going to make a huge difference, or you know, what sort of? I'll get to your dealership and my car smells of smoke, for argument's sake.
Well, obviously, things like smoke, they will play a factor. Because eventually, if we get that car in, like we say, we need to get it to a floor standard. So we need to take that car for a proper valet, so that won't count in your favor. So obviously, smoker's car,
Filters and air filters and things
we have to
like
change everything in that.
Those are the type of things that we need to change again on the vehicle to get that air
For the
filters
next
clean
guy.
again. Yes, for the next guy, because the next guy might have a sinus problem.
Doesn't like smoke.
He really wants that car, but he doesn't want to buy it because it was a smoker's car. So we need to get that car back to standard as well, back to floor standard, to as we mentioned earlier, retailable standard. So yes, that counts to a negativity for you. So try and
Not smoke in your
everybody
car.
just try and not smoke in your vehicles.
Don't be like this guy.
in terms of the history of a vehicle, ideally you want the service books and everything.
That's it. Yes.
Ideally, it's easier with for us personally. It's easier with VWs and Audis because we've got a system whereby we punch in your VIN and then we can pull the full history on that car. For other brands, a bit trickier. Like BMW, we literally need to call BMW to make sure your motor plan is still active. When was your previous service? As there's no books at BMW.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very important that your service history is up to date with agents.
So ideally, if you've got invoices, keep them all together.
Keep them all
and
together.
Take them to the dealership at the same
yeah.
time. Perfect. And
Yeah, as long as it's a approved RMI service center, it's also fine. You can service your car there for cars that is out of plan, as long as we have a history that the car has been
serviced.
maintained mechanically.
perfect. So just to give a brief rundown on the stuff that we look at evaluations, we're going to check and make sure that the glass is right, windscreens are right, paintwork is in order and within spec.
Yep.
Obviously the tires. Taking the car for a test drive, so in other words, we're going to check gearboxes, clutches, etc., etc.
Stereo racks and so on, yeah. And then also obviously your history, so history of the car, that's very
Service history
important.
as well.
So we need that too, yeah.
And have the car cleaned up.
Preferably, yes, please, yeah.
And buy something with extras. Sunroof,
Yes.
please, if you can. Obviously, budget is
It's
most
always a
important
factor.
for you.
That's it.
But obviously, and I think mostly research and see what vehicles are holding their value versus what vehicles aren't holding their value.
It's always very important before you buy a car, obviously, to do your homework and find out, let's say, on estimation, how much your car will be worth in a few years. As the market can tell you that just by browsing on Auto Trader or Cars.co.za, you can actually see more or less what happens to these cars.
But also what consumers out there need to take into consideration when browsing on values of cars, they need to do a direct comparison. There's a lot of people who don't do a direct comparison on their vehicles, especially when they go onto websites like Auto Trader, Cars.co.za, all of those things. So my advice is just do a direct comparison of your vehicle when bringing it in for a trade-in evaluation, especially because you find a lot of customers that says, yes, I saw this car, for argument's sake, I've seen a BMW 320 where his is just a normal F30 320 automatic, where he has seen a price of an M Sport, and that's where a lot of people get it wrong, you know. So I'd say they just need to do a direct comparison when they look on those
true.
websites.
Okay, so you can gauge your car on Auto Trader, but don't don't sort of expect that sort of figure,
That's it.
because that's a retail price versus a trade price.
That's it.
So go on and advertise at the same price if you want to, if not more, but run the risk of losing out if you don't sell the car, or if somebody's not really a proper buyer.
That's it.
And all the scams and things that are out there where you
That's
end up losing your car completely.
That's it.
Touch wood, it doesn't happen to anybody.
And like we're very transparent, all right? So we'll show you exactly what the trade is, and we'll show you exactly how we get to the value of your car. So there won't be any hidden agendas or anything. We'll literally show you this is trade, and this is how we get to our
Yeah,
figures.
of course, because we want to
So
get the car in and
it's
sell it
open
ourselves.
cards, yeah.
Perfect, 100%. Thanks again for the like, shares, and viewing of this video. It would be great to get you all involved with this. So if you've got any questions related to possible trade-ins, values of vehicles, please feel free to drop me a mail at rowan@hatfieldvw.co.za. And once we've got a whole lot of Q&As together, we'll run another episode where we can answer your questions. Like and share again, and give us a shout, 011 231 4000.